Hello, welcome back. This is Jeff Byers. This is Annie235, and this is Module 14. We're going to bind the skin to the joints and add paint weights, Part 3. So the introduction video will be placed here. Make sure you watch it, and you're watching it now. And this is going to be a very quick overview, maybe a couple sentences. Basically, you're going to take the geometry and you're going to bind the geometry to the joints. And that's called the bind skin process. And then from there you're going to paint the weights so you don't lose any volume between the two joints, and the geometry will follow that really nicely. This process is very time consuming. It's not difficult to do. It's very time consuming. It's like taking a sculpting class. Once you get used to painting weights, it'll just come naturally to you. It'll be a lot easier for you. And basically in the course assignment, you're going to do all that work. You're going to get the skin, and you're going to get it into pose 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can see that at the bottom. And you're going to give me 5 different scenes. Okay, so you'll have your T pose. That's your original pose. That'll be screenshot 1 or scene 1. And then you will pose the character, and once you pose that character, you'll go ahead and save that scene, and that'll be number 2, and then so on and so forth. And then you're going to create screenshots for me in those pose 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so you'll be doing these two together. And once you get that pose, then you can do this again all together. So if you just do one pose at a time and then do the screenshot and then do the render for me, that's great. Okay, I do give you lighting, the lighting rig, if you want to use that, and then tweak it out to your scene, because it may not be bright enough, or it may be too bright. So you can tweak that out. You guys know how to do that. Watch all of the videos, every single one of them, even the practice videos for binding the skin that I'm going to put in. You need to watch. Make sure you do that, and that'll get you prepped for how it works. And then the rest is up to you. There's no easy way of doing a paint weight. I wish there was. I wish you could just magically click a button and it does all the work for you. There is an auto rig tool in Maya that gets pretty close, but you still have to paint weights. But we don't use that because basically the whole idea is for you to learn how to create your own joint system and the controllers and how everything works, and do it yourself in case you ever want to do something that is different, maybe a character with horns or a character with a ponytail or something like that. The auto rig won't work as well. And then there's the binding to skin, the bind the skin tutorial, which is good. I go through how to get started, and you'll see that in there. Make sure you watch all of them, and then you can see that's you're going to start binding the skin, and then the lighting rig is here. So help yourself to that. It's a short module. There's not a whole lot here. Because it's more time consuming than is a lot of things I got to show you. It's pretty simple. You just have to take your time. And the idea behind all of this is that you save your work all of the time. So these are the poses that you'll give me. And just to kind of let you know what I'm looking at as far as volume goes, you can see we're not losing a lot of volume here. And in the other videos you'll see that where you start off is that it looks more like a garden hose than something that looks more realistic. Okay, and another thing we can do is you can look at your own arm, pull your sleeve up, and bend your arm at like 90-degree angle. You can see that the tissue, they don't separate from each other; they actually come together. And because of the soft tissue that we have, muscle and fat and skin, you can see that you have a crease instead of kind of a garden hose effect. So unfortunately you get a garden hose effect when you work with paint weights, because it's not smart enough to figure that one out. But it does a pretty good job getting you started. You just have to tweak it out. And that's what paint weights is all about. And then, of course, I'm going to offer you some extra credit. It's always nice to have some extra credit at the very end in case you guys missed something or something got by you, or you would like those extra points. And this is the last one. You won't have any other extra credit, so take advantage of this one. Basically, what you'll do is once you get your paint weights all completed and you got it looking good and you got all the screenshots and renders for me, then go on to the extra credit and pose your character into one of these poses, whichever one you feel comfortable doing. They're not that hard to do. And that will also test your rig to see if you need to continue painting weights. Okay? That's it. It's a very... I don't want to say it's an easy week. I think it's going to be frustrating for some of you guys if you don't follow the tutorials and practice. If you don't practice and jump right into your character, you're going to have some issues with that. So make sure you watch all my pre-production videos where it takes you through how to do a cylinder, how to paint weights on a cylinder, and then I take you through how I go about painting weights for this character here and getting the weights just perfect so it looks good when you're posing your character. Now everybody's character is different, so issues that I don't have, you may have. Okay, so you're going to have to problem solve. I'm not going to be able to problem solve those out for you. Of course, I want you guys to contact me if you do have questions, but again, I'm probably going to, I can't be doing the work for you. Again, you're going to have to do the work yourself. Painting wigs especially is something that is just, you're going to have to take time to do, especially in those areas of the chest. Okay. The idea is, again, when posing, you always want to pose and get strong arcs. Okay, you learned that in 2D and in digital rendering. So you always want to kind of pose your character if you want to do a dynamic pose. Use arcs. So the idea here is just take your time, and if you're watching a video, make sure that you pause the video. So watch a little bit of it, then pause it, and then do it, and then save. Watch a little bit, pause it, and then do what I have actually instructed, and then save it. Okay, and save in a sequence. When you're doing paint weights, I highly recommend that you, right before you bind your skin to your skeleton, that you save it and you don't touch that, so you can come back to that if you really mess up on the paint weights. So then you can go back and select the root joint and then shift select the geometry again and then bind the skin. Once you do that before you start painting weights, I want you to save it again, so you'll have one without the bind and with the bind. Okay, and then you can just do one section at a time. I like to start with the head and work my way down the body. A lot of people like to start with the feet and work their way up. It's personal preference. I start with the head because that basically I like to make sure everything's working with the head first, and then I work my way down the body. Okay? Alright. So I wish you the best of luck this week. It's just really time consuming. It's not hard work. It's nothing like rigging, where that's really technical. This is not technical. It's more like painting. It's a lot of fun. A lot of students like it because it's you don't have to think about it too much. It's not something they have to really worry about. You just have to go in there and just take your time and make sure you save your work a lot. And that's basically it. Anyway, and if you got through the rigging part and your rig looks good, this will be simple. Okay, and then the posing will be fun, and then the rendering part. Part 15, looking ahead, just to let you guys know, you cannot turn module 15 in late. You cannot turn that in. You'll get a 0 if you do. So I'm telling you right now, you can be late on module 14. You don't want to be, because that's going to make you late for module 15. So 14 and 15, again, 14 is all about painting weights and then doing a pose for extra credit if you want to, and doing the 4 poses I need you to do in the screenshots. And then module 15 is finishing it all up, getting a base, a pedestal. You have to create a pedestal. It can be simple. Create a pedestal, and then pose your character. And I like to see it in a dynamic pose or a pose that's appropriate for the character itself. Have fun, enjoy, and I'll see you guys next week in Module 15.